Hello viewers, welcome to my channel The Crime Stories. We all always dream that we get something that makes us rich, like a treasure or a lottery. But what if someone promises to fulfill all your dreams and it turns out to be a lie? Today's story is also about such a lottery scam in which thousands of people were cheated, and the most shocking thing is that this entire scam started with just one letter. Winning a lottery is like a dream come true, which can change anyone's life overnight, and taking advantage of this thinking and dream of the people, two persons, that is the father and his son, executed such a lottery scam in which thousands of people kept playing this lottery again and again and kept getting trapped in their trap. This story is the story of the biggest lottery scam in the history of America, in which more than 10,000 people were cheated, and due to this fraud, their lives were ruined forever. So who were these thug father and son? How did they execute America's biggest lottery scam, and did anyone ever know about this entire scam? The secret of this scam was revealed. It will surprise you. The mastermind of this scam is James Houston, who earned immense wealth by lying to people. And because of this lie, their lives were ruined. The story begins in the 1980s, when neither technology was so advanced, nor the internet had entered this world. This was the time when people used to write letters to each other to have long conversations, and this was the way to communicate with people sitting far away. But James Houston saw a perfect opportunity in this, through which he could cheat people. However, before moving forward in this story, we have to know about James Houston, how he became a thug from a common man whose scam shook the whole of America. James was born in 1940 in a family where everyone earned their bread by working hard, and in James's entire house, no one cheated or stole. This clearly means that James had nothing to do with crime since childhood. James was also very good in studies from the beginning, and as he was growing up, his personality was also becoming very good, which was going to be very useful for him in the future. From his teenage years, James would often find some way to earn money by doing small jobs. Sometimes he would do household work for his neighbors, or earn some cash by selling small goods. James had a knack for convincing people, which made him successful in getting money out of their pockets. This skill of his later took a dangerous turn, altering everything. Because of this ability, James began to exploit people's weaknesses, taking advantage and cheating them. By the 1980s, James had started carrying out small scams. He would trap nearby shopkeepers with fake schemes, essentially practicing his crimes. What made James truly dangerous was not just his skill in talking, but also his ability to cheat people. He had a vision, and while others thought small, he thought big and dangerous. This mindset led James to believe that instead of committing small frauds and cheating local people, he could now deceive individuals worldwide. This belief enabled him to eventually cheat thousands of people. One day, as he was sitting and thinking, a cunning idea came to James's mind. He started pondering, why not take advantage of people's greed and impatience, trapping them in a fake lottery scheme from which they could never escape? This entire scam was so cleverly designed that once someone got trapped, they kept getting drawn in again and again. By the 90s, James had become the mastermind behind this scam, a fake lottery, about which no one had ever thought or heard. Although James was the mastermind of this whole scam, no big scam or fraud can be executed unless there is a great team behind it. To execute this scam, James needed a team he could trust, and who were as shrewd and clever as he was. James now started preparing a team, and the members of this team were not ordinary criminals. They were experts in making excellent plans and strategies. The first person to join this gang was Sonny Houston, who was none other than James's son. This was the reason why James trusted Sonny the most. While James planned and executed the scam, Sonny handled the logistics, ensuring the letters sent in the fake lottery reached the post office on time. Sonny was as loyal to his father James as he was expert in his work. Sonny was the person responsible for ensuring the letters reached thousands of people, making them victims of the fake lottery scam. Now the most important member of this gang was Dennis, also known as the salesman of this operation. Dennis was the person who designed every letter of this scam. Dennis used to do this, or we can say that it was because of Dennis that everyone was earning money. Dennis laid a perfect trap in this entire operation, designing postcards and letters so wonderfully that anyone would get deceived. He used to put a great logo on these letters and postcards, which looked completely professional, and something was written in these letters which, after reading, would make everyone fall into the trap laid by him. Dennis knew very well how to enter people's minds, and he also used to say that people just needed to send a letter, and he would keep sending them money. Dennis' guess was absolutely correct because the people who fell prey to his fraud kept playing continuously in the hope that they would definitely win one day. At the same time, the bank accounts of James and his gang kept getting filled. Although they were all earning money, it was not possible to hide such a big scam unless there was a proper system to hide the money earned in it. This is where the international players of this gang entered, who used to operate sitting in Costa Rica and Europe. All these players used to enter. They were either accountants or middlemen who used to transfer the victims' checks to different accounts through money laundering. They used to take special care that these transactions should not be tracked, and this was the reason that it took law enforcement many years to track these transactions. What made James and his gang more dangerous was their discipline, because they did not do any work in a hurry, and everything they designed and money laundered was completely well planned. They had no mercy for any victim in their heart, because it was a business for everyone and all the victims were just numbers written on paper. However, due to James's mind and his loyal team, this scam was not stopping now, and for many years to come, he was successful in convincing more than 10,000 people that their dreams could also be fulfilled by playing lottery. But the biggest question that arises is, how did he do all this? And when this truth came to the people, then they were shocked. When this letter came to light, the ground slipped under their feet. This entire scam started with just one letter which was designed in a very good and professional way, and it looked absolutely real. The logos on this letter and the way it was written made it seem that it was sent by a big and trustworthy company. And from here, people got fooled that now the good times of their life are about to start. Whichever victim this letter was sent to, it was written in it that they can play a big lottery like Irish Sweepstakes or Shamrock Fund for $10 to $15 and can change their lives by winning a lot of money. On seeing this letter, the victims would get trapped very easily in this trap, but the truth was that there was no lottery ticket, and no lottery winner, and whatever money the victims sent, they never got it back. Even after doing all this, James and his gang were still not satisfied, and they wanted that these victims should send them money not just once but again and again. And he was successful in designing this scam in such a way that the victims got trapped and kept sending him money until they were completely empty. Whenever these victims sent an entry fee of $10 to $15 to play the lottery, after a few days they would get a small amount check which was only between $10 to $15. This is where the best phase of the scam started, because James had designed the scam in such a way that no victim could get out of it. Whatever small amount checks were sent to the victims, they could not cash them, because according to the rules of the lottery company, they could cash these checks only until the amount of these checks reached $5,000. This was the gamble that James played, and all the victims felt that they would win up to $5,000 by playing continuously, and these fake checks also convinced them that this lottery is real. Now, all these victims started sending money to James's gang again and again in the hope that one day they will win up to $5,000. They would definitely win, but they were unaware that they were being cheated, which would ruin their lives. Now, as the scam kept growing, James played another new trick called pension plan. This was exactly like a retirement plan, and many victims started thinking that their money was safe here because they were not cheating. But here also the truth was the same, that like the lottery scam, there was neither any account nor any pension, and neither were they going to get any money. Among all these victims, there was a 91-year-old woman who felt that she was creating a great future for her grandson and granddaughter, and that is why she had kept every letter, every fake check, and every fake receipt safely, so that when the time came, she could take back her money. That old woman had saved this money one by one. She had saved money by pie because she was sure that she was investing money for the better future of her children, and she would definitely get this money back. But when the police told her about the scam, she broke down and said that these scammers not only stole her money, but also shattered her dreams. Now, whatever checks the victim sent to James's team, they first started making this money disappear. The first step in that was sending this money to different bank accounts. Then, through these accounts, the money was sent to Costa Rica, from where James and his team operated. After reaching Costa Rica, this money was sent to the accounts of different shell companies in Europe. Then, this money was invested in luxury apartments and luxury cars there. James had also created many different fake identities. People knew him by names like Rex Rogers, Maid Mulligan, Jordan Gabby, and Sunray Star. Once he even contested the governor election of Nevada, which made people trust his scam even more. Due to James's scam, most of the victims went into debt, but they were still hoping that they would win a big lottery and get a payout of $5,000. James and his gang were able to earn immense wealth from this scam because they had understood human nature, which was full of greed and haste. They were not only looting money from the victims, but also playing with their emotions. Most of his victims were old people who often lived alone or had no one. In these letters, things were written that would make people rich quickly and change their lives. After reading this, people would be convinced that this is the last hope of happiness left in their lives, and they would believe these things very easily. James knew this very well, and that is why he made people's hopes a weapon and used them against them, earning immense wealth himself. Anyway, when this entire scam was exposed in front of the police, their eyes were wide open. This was not just a scam, but a fraud executed on an industrial level, in which $20 million of the victims had been destroyed so far. In this scam, the dream of every victim, which they had seen for themselves and their family, and which will never be fulfilled now, was shattered. 91-year-old Margaret, who was a victim of the scam, also kept getting checks of small amounts continuously. This made her hope that she would win the lottery soon, so she kept playing continuously. But when the police investigated her case, they came to know that now Margaret does not have much money left even to buy groceries. When the police revealed the scam in front of Margaret, she questioned them, "Then where is my money and where did that money go?" On the other hand, the police came to know about another 82-year-old woman who lived alone and had invested her hard-earned money of many years in the scam. When the police talked to that woman, she told them that, till now, she had invested $30,000 in the scam so that she keeps getting regular monthly payouts. Although this entire scam was designed very systematically, it is said that any wrongdoing is bound to get caught one day or the other. And the same thing happened here as well. Now this scam had become so big that it was becoming very difficult to hide it, and the police were also slowly getting very close to exposing the scam. But how they reached James and how they caught him is as surprising in itself as this scam. This investigation begins with a phone call, and this call came to the police from a bank. The person who made this call to the police was the accountant of the bank, and what this accountant noticed was that most of the old customers of his bank had repeatedly made checks in the name of the same lottery company. Initially, the amount on these checks used to be small, but gradually, with time, it kept increasing. And the accountant was repeatedly wondering why the checks were going to the same lottery company. However, after getting the news from the accountant, the police contacted the United States Postal Inspection Service and asked them to investigate this case. The Postal Inspection Service is the agency that investigates any fraud related to letters coming to the post office. And the responsibility of investigating this case is given to Officer Sherry Delaney. At the beginning of the investigation, it seemed like a minor fraud case, but as Officer Delaney went deeper into this case, she started realizing that this is not a minor scam. The name of the same lottery company and the same mailing address kept appearing in front of her again and again. Officer Delaney saw that people from different states of America were sending checks to the same address. Then, it did not take her long to understand that this is a very big scam, which she would need more people to solve. Now, Officer Delaney started working together with the Internal Revenue Service agent, and she asked Agent Frank to find out about the money that had reached the lottery companies through these checks. Now the Agent Frank starts tracing the checks of the victims which were sent from different bank accounts of America. From here, he came to know that the transactions were done in Costa Rica, from where the letters used to come by post. Then, this money was sent to different accounts in Europe and disappeared from there through various transactions. The reason behind doing these transactions in Costa Rica was that no one could reach them. But as Officer Delaney and Officer Frank got closer to these transactions, it did not take them long to understand just how organized and big this whole operation was. To make their case stronger, it was becoming very important for the investigators to talk to the victims. However, this work was going to prove to be equally difficult and emotional for them. Now Officer Delaney starts knocking on the doors of the victims one by one, telling everyone that they have become victims of a scam, because there is neither any lottery nor any pension, and there was no money left. On hearing this, some victims started crying and some refused to believe it. A woman who had kept all these checks safe till now looked at Delaney with teary eyes and told him, I was waiting for the money because I had invested everything I had in this. Officer Delaney said that this interrogation of the victim was the most difficult part of the investigation because these were not just fraud victims, but they were victims of broken dreams and hopes. Now, as both officers kept collecting evidence related to the scam, they got a lead, and that was the mailing center in Costa Rica from where the letters were sent. After this revelation, the police had a target in front of them which they could connect with the operations of James and his gang. The police got a big success when the people inside the scam network told them about the details of the scam, in which the police came to know that the mastermind of this entire scam is James Houston. The second detail which the police found out was that James's son, Sonny, handles the logistics of the scam operation. And thirdly, that Dennison designs the fraud letters which trap the victims. James had been hiding this scam operation and the transactions in it from the eyes of the police by using fake identity for the last several years, but now the police had found the biggest evidence, that is, his mailing center, and now James had no place left where he could hide. The case was now slowly getting unraveled, and James, who had planned this entire scam operation, was going to be caught by the police very soon. However, by the year 1995, the police had got all the evidence they needed, and the names and account numbers of the people involved in the scam had also been obtained by them, but it was not going to be so easy to finish such a big fraud empire in one go. Now the police, along with Interpol, raided James's mailing center in Cotarca, and seeing the scene there, they were convinced that now he is the mastermind of this scam. They are very close to solving the case. In this raid, they get printing machines and thousands of printed letters and also a list of names to whom these fraud letters were to be sent. Meanwhile, James's son Sonny is arrested from an office in America, and he used to handle logistics from this office. It was from Sonny that the police came to know that Dennis is at his home, and the police arrest him from there too. After which, two important members of this gang were caught by the police, but James was still to be caught. The police starts to think that James has run away somewhere, but at the same time they also knew that James feels that he will never be caught, and that is why they start looking for him in Costa Rica, and their arrow hits the right target. However, after a few days of search, James is caught by the police in Costa Rica, where he was hiding to escape from the U.S. police. After the arrest, James and his gang were charged with federal charges of mail fraud, money laundering, and lottery scam, in which James was held to be the mastermind of this entire scam. The testimony of the victims played a very important role in making the case strong, in which they wrote many letters to the court, and in these letters there was the story of their ruin which they faced due to the scam. Some victims even came to the court and testified, telling how they were cheated and their lifelong earnings were snatched away. James's lawyer told the court that he should be treated a little leniently because he has become very old now and his health is also not good. But the defending lawyer argued that James, despite being an old man himself, robbed elderly people who were sick and alone, taking away their lifelong earnings. Neither did James show any mercy to them, nor did he think about them. While appealing to the court, the defending lawyer insisted that James should be given the harshest and harshest punishment. Agreeing with the argument of the defending lawyer, the judge sentences James to 10 years, and it was a very harsh punishment for an old man like James. But ultimately, all the victims got justice. James's son Sonny and partner Dennis too. He was convicted of the scam and sentenced to 7 years, and all the 3 main players of this scam were now behind bars, after which his entire fraud operation was destroyed. The police confiscated all his printing machines, closed his printing center, and froze all his accounts. Although all the culprits were punished for their crime, most of the victims had lost their money forever, which they were never going to get back. The police officers involved in this investigation said that this loss cannot be compensated with money, because James did not just steal money from people, but he also stole their hopes and dreams, and after that, the victims will never be able to trust anyone. James's story tells us that no matter how organized and big a scam is, one day it is sure to be exposed, no matter how cleverly it was executed. James's arrest not only ended a fraud operation, but also led to the defeat of a man who thought that he would get away forever by fooling people. After James was convicted, the FBI and other federal agencies took several strict measures to prevent such scams in future, and for this, advanced technology and tools were used to track international financial transactions. Law enforcement agencies and consumer protection groups ran several awareness campaigns in which people were educated to avoid fake lottery scams. And they were clearly told that genuine lottery companies never ask for any money in advance. And if anyone asks for money from them by promising a win, it means that he is a fraud. Anyway, James's story ended forever on January 25, 2012, when he said goodbye to the world at the age of 68. But his story taught that greed and haste can put anyone in big trouble. How did you like this story? Do let us know by writing in the comment section, like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.